So, I've tried recording this about 3 times today, so if I don't get it this time, I am going to bed. But anyway, quarantine has me locked up for the minute, and I'm pretty close to going crazy. So I thought what I could do was open up Fallout 4 and finish some old settlements I never got done, or improve upon settlements that I had done before. Because looking back and going through these old settlements, not quite what I was, not a fan. Not a fan, to say the least. Anyway, so here I am at, I forgot I'm in free camera mode. Here I am at Nordhagen Beach. And what I've done here, I've actually done this settlement once before. I've made it into a market and Minutemen outpost. Now before, when I did this settlement, it was just a marketplace. This was right around the time the warehouse parts came out for the workshop. And I really liked how the glass walls and roofs looked. I think they looked great, and I used them for a market at Nordhagen before. And, you know, it gives the open air feel while keeping it enclosed still, which is why I love it so much. And I uploaded that tour about 3 years ago, I'd say. And now I have mods. And mods are amazing. So I use these mods to add a bit more structure, detail, and wait for it, lore. Because you can't have a dope settlement build without lore. Now I'm not saying you have to go out and every settler needs to have a name, but you know, why is the settlement here? What purpose does it serve? You know, it just makes it that much more interesting, and you know, it'll keep you coming back and adding more things to it in the future. And without further ado, let's start this tour. So to start this tour, more or less, because I already filmed this, but my recording software cut off in the middle of this cut, so we're going to be redoing it, which, you know, maybe it'll be a more fluid live commentary tour. Anyway, so walking through here, this is the Minutemen side of the settlement, and with my Minutemen, you know, outpost or whatever, basically they follow the same format in terms of basics. There's going to be a commander's quarters, a barracks, and an artillery piece. This one specifically only has those three. Normally after I build those three, I kind of set up the settlement to do whatever special operations I think it's set up for in that area, all to add to that juicy lore I was talking about earlier. Anyway, when we come in right to our right, we have this little utility shed. I honestly built this for me when I was doing the militarized Minutemen uniforms and getting clothes for everybody on the settlement. You have to make them at a chemistry station, and you have to customize them at an armor workbench. So this made it very convenient. These are compact workstations from Creative Clutter. I love them, and I decided to keep them just because what military outpost wouldn't have some level of utility to it. And to show that militarized Minutemen mod off a little more, for our artillery person, if you can see the badge, I'm not sure if you can, it's a little dark out, but that says artillery on her arm. They have tons of customizable options for different uniforms, for different jobs in the army. It's amazing. It makes the Minutemen playthrough so much better. I can't recommend militarized Minutemen enough. Please go download it. And over here we have our first generator. I do not like looking at generators out in the open. I try to conceal them somehow because they're really important. You know, speaking from a settlement point of view, that's your power source that powers all the defenses, lights, everything. So try to conceal it, protect it in some way from enemies. So I decided to throw this one in here, put a security gate in front of it. I think it just makes it look that much better. It's things like that that I like, you know, to do in settlements. Just make it a little more realistic than having, you know, a nuclear reactor out in the open. So right here we have the commander's quarters. All of my commander's quarters usually follow the same layout if I'm building them in a 2x2. You're going to have, when you walk in, you're going to have a wet bar slash, sometimes I'll put food storage around here. I didn't feel the need to do that in this settlement. And then a work area, a bed, usually a double bed, a nice bed. Like, he's the commander, he's going to get better things than the regular guys. And then some sort of lounge slash area for informal meetings, I would say. And then I'll put some Minutemen art up, some maps, some taxidermy, stuff to, you know, show that he's the commander and he earned his way to that very nice living quarters. Over here, I did put a back door that leads into the settlement. We're not going to go through that way, but I just wanted to show you so, you know, there's some level of practicality to the settlement. It wouldn't make sense if it was just that one door, because initially it was. But then when I decided to build the rest of the town, I added that door in just to make it a little more realistic and practical for me, because I'm running around a lot. So here we have the regular barracks, another lounge area with a good bit of seating, because there's 8 guys who would sleep in here. Wet bar for them, not as nice as the commanders, obviously. TV so they can watch the "Please Stand By" image all day. And here we have our vault tables. Now, I love these for Minutemen or Brotherhood of Steel settlements. They are so neat. They look so, like, military almost. And great. Love them. Creative Clutter is a must-have mod. I cannot build in vanilla anymore. I just can't. It's impossible for me. Then we have a couple Minutemen flags, Come and Take It, and the flag. This is from Evil Viking 13's Minutemen mod, where he does change the Minutemen flag up a bit, and I do think this one looks a bit better. I just like, that it has more color, and it's just more, America. Then here we are on the coast, so I did throw a wagon wheel up there just to fill in the wall space a bit more. We have a fridge that is stocked, once again. With this stove and fridge, Creative Clutter works miracles. However, I don't recall there being a ghoul leg on here, so I'm guessing one of the troops just has a very strange appetite. And then on top we have some extra condiments and stuff like that. Here we do have beds, sleeping for 8. I do have the appropriate amount of foot lockers, a dartboard, some little details like a note, a photo of some friends, and like an emergency pistol in case something goes wrong at night. And that is the barracks. And I believe that wraps up, yeah, that should wrap up the Minutemen side of the settlement. And so next off we're going to do a quick cut, and then I will show off the civilian side of the settlement. So I will be right back. Okay, so now it's actually several days later in game time because 1, I got attacked, and 2, I ran out of space on my hard drive again. So after doing some combing through the files and deleting a bunch of things I didn't need, we are good to go. So now we are going to be looking at the civilian side of the settlement. So one thing I want to start off right here is this kind of natural wall of junk that's already here. All of this is part of the original settlement besides like 1 or 2 items that I threw in there just to make it look a little more full. And that kind of helps with the flow of the settlement that I was talking about. So when we walk in, we have a bus stop right here that's been converted into a little shelter. Let me get in the first person here. So right here we have our bus stop. It only sleeps 1. I don't even think it counts as a bed. But when I was trying to fill out this space, I didn't quite know what to put here, and then I was browsing through my mods list and I found this. So I figured, hey, that's a good thing to put there. Fills up the space nicely. It has just enough detail to satisfy me personally. And it also kind of makes sense that it's here, alright? We're right next to a road. We're near a beach. It's probably going to be a bus stop around here that they could have moved and then, made into a little house. Like for maybe a guard or a entryman or something like that. So right now, right here, we have the hotel. And for some reason my settlers are awfully chatty today, so I do apologize for that. But right here is a hotel that I ended up building on accident. See, what had happened was I made this little 2x2 building here, and then I didn't know what to throw in it. I basically wanted to fill in the space and didn't really plan anything out first. But then I was going through Creative Clutter and I found these curtains, and I thought, okay, this is cool. I can make a hotel. Now it's not going to be crazy like you have your own room or anything like that, but it's a nice cheap hotel where you have a bed, you have privacy, you can give your stuff to this guy, he'll check them in, and then you can have a peaceful sleep for a very small sum of money. So coming out here back on the street, I want to talk about the flow of the settlement because you guys have heard me mention that a couple times. By that I mean just that there's a natural way to how this settlement is built around, and you can I tried to capitalize on that as best as I could. So you kind of already have this well walked area, and if you put the buildings around that, it definitely makes the settlement look more settled in, and that's kind of what I was getting at with that. So moving on, I left the original structure and farm here. I like the structure, I like how it looks, very coastal, love it. And then the farm, just to give the original settlers something to do. I could reassign them, but I'm not quite sure how good food is in my, Minutemen empire right now, so I'm gonna let them farm and take care of the rest of these people. Right here we have some chairs. No idea what mod it is. Don't worry, I'm going to figure out all the mods used here and link them in the description below. So, yeah, I just found those chairs randomly. No idea where they came from. So, here is a cooking station and a takeaway. And this uses the Immersive Vendors mod. I love this mod. I can't build without it. Fills out all of the vending stands, makes them look stocked and actually like they're selling something. And with that, the restaurants usually get a sort of action that the settler or the NPC can do. So right here, she's like cutting up some meat, getting ready to cook it. Oh my god, these settlers won't shut up. Oh my god. Anyway, so here is the basically living quarters of the takeaway chef. I gave her a bed, nightstand, and then some decorations. And then we have the food storage. I figured it'd make more sense for her to have more food storage. She is running a restaurant after all. That's kind of my reasoning there. So now we're going to move into like the main part of the tour. Now the reason I'm not ending on it is because it's not the coolest, in my opinion, it's not the coolest piece of the settlement. We're going to save that for last, like all good tours do. But this is going to be the marketplace. And like I said before, when the warehouse parts came out, I loved how the glass walls and ceiling looked. And I thought, perfect thing to put a market in. It makes it look very open-aired, but it's actually enclosed. Looks awesome. So here I'm also using the Immersive Vendors stores. Don't know where this guy went. But what's cool about these is these actually snap together. So it makes them really easy to build with. I tried to dress all of the vendors appropriately for what they are selling. And then for the middle, I tried to give it a flea market kind of vibe. Just a bunch of random stuff, no rhyme or reason, on a table. You see something you like, you pick it, you ask what the price is, etc., etc. And here I put some extra crates, for incoming materials, stuff that's going to be in inventory eventually. And then these are two more shelves that I just randomly found in my menu. I haven't played this game in over a year, I'd say. And I'm just finding all these mods I forgot about. I believe they're part of the same mod that those chairs I mentioned were. So I'll have those linked in the description. Don't worry. Same with this table. I believe it's the same mod that came with the shelves. And I just made this little area to fill in the space a bit. And then for this space I threw in a restaurant. Now this is also from the Immersive Vendors mod. And I absolutely love this restaurant. I think it looks great. Added some extra seating areas. These booths actually have NPC action with them. So if an NPC sits down, they'll like either eat something or write something. Really cool. It just adds that nice extra layer of immersion. So down here we are on the coast. I decided to do a fishing dock, I guess. So I only have one NPC here. As you can see, a second ago he was throwing food into the water trying to lure some fish, and we have a bunch of traps and stuff set up here. We have a gutting table and then a fishing weight table. Those actually all produce food. I don't know what happened to the NPC who I actually assigned to those. They're somewhere around here. You know how these Fallout NPCs are. Coming out, I have a nice little patio area right here for a couple drinks, smoke, read, all that stuff, and then a park bench. Over here I have a little guard post defending the south part of the settlement. I kind of, like, when I was getting close to finishing the build, I did notice how open this area is, and instead of building something super elaborate, thus costing more frames, I just put another guard tower there, and I think it looks alright, actually. Yeah, I'm pretty pleased with that. So then coming back up here, we're going to finish off the tour right here. If you haven't guessed what the, finale is going to be, it's going to be right here. So right here we have our second generator, and like I said before, I hate it when generators show. I try to enclose all of them now, and what I did here, instead of having this random concrete block, it's still a random concrete block, don't get me wrong. I did put a guard tower on top of it though, just to give it just a little bit more utility. And then I had to connect these stairs to the ground somehow, and I've actually never used the wood bridge before, so I figured, hey, perfect time to use that. And that was the thought process behind that. Couple of miscellaneous electrics, generators, stuff like that. I was going to take this out, but I actually kind of like how it fills in the space. And then some extra water supplies here. But most of the water comes from the 2 purifiers I have in the ocean. But yeah, I do like how the space is filled up right here. So right here we have a sniper tower. This is a scaffolding prefab with a guard post on top of it. Nothing more, nothing less. It's literally 2 pieces. So then over here, initially this was going to be the hotel. I was going to have 2 to 3 train cars set up as small homes that can be rented out. But when I built that other hotel, I decided to make these more residential. So I have some laundry in here, some nightstands, stuff laying out that you wouldn't leave out in a hotel room. And then, so that one had 2 bunks, and I believe this one just has a double bed and a little lounge area. Yeah. So that's going to be the majority of the settlement, but there's one more thing that we need to check out, and this is the grand finale. And I'm actually very proud of this. I spent a couple hours building this because those buildings in Fallout 4 that you just can never quite get right. So I finally bit the bullet and said, you know what, this is good enough to show the internet, and it's actually already on the internet. The Fallout Settlement subreddit has shown this thing some love already, which I really appreciate. So we are going to take a quick tour of this, and this one's going to be a little slow because there's actually a lot of detail I want to go into here. So in this bar, I did go for the sort of Americana vibe. And by that, in America, when we're going for that vibe, we'd like to just throw a bunch of random things on the walls. No really rhyme or reason, but it kind of adds to the personality of the place, and that's what I was going for. So the bar itself is from Creative Clutter. That's their bar vendor, and I like it because it's very classic look to it. And another reason I like it is when you go around back, it actually has the kegs for the beer tap and the Nuka-Cola tap, apparently, below it, which I love. I love details like that. Amazing. It's not a bar without a ragtag head. And then here we have our liquor inventory right here. Most bars will do this. They'll have it displayed right in front of the customers when they're drinking. Crate of incoming alcohol, and then we're actually going to go around for that. And then I also want to show out the Minutemen presence in the Commonwealth. So this bar has a couple things. They have the flag, they have a couple of paintings, they have some propaganda pieces, all that stuff just to add to the overall lore of this, basically this overall save, to be honest. So then on the bar we have a couple shot glasses, some, I believe that's bourbon, rum, and vodka, and a cigar, and someone's playing solitaire. So then over here I have another wagon wheel, just noticed that, and a couple of posters, just miscellaneous, people playing poker on the coffee table, enjoying a smoke, socializing, stuff like that. And here at the entrance I do have a powered vending machine. If you put drinks in here, it will make them like ice cold and buff the effects on them after I think 1 in-game day. And then right here I do have a cigarette vending machine, and both of these have the appropriate advertising around them. And then over here I have a small lounge area, guys playing checkers, enjoying a smoke. and then with a Yaguai head. And at nighttime, this looks really good. I will do a quick run through of this at nighttime just to show how the lighting definitely changes at night. But yeah, this looks really good at night, and I'm actually quite pleased with how this bar turned out. I especially like how on that back wall, that's a metallic wall, how the lights reflect off the back of it and just add to the color of the place. I think that's great, and it's one of the details of, you know, Fallout 4's lighting engine, I guess, that I absolutely love. So that's going to do it for the settlement. I'm going to run through the bar one more time at night, and then I will be on my way. So thank you guys so much for watching, and we are going to teleport tonight right now. Alright, so it's nighttime right now, and actually there's two things I want to demonstrate now. So one part of Immersive Vendors is that they actually have actions for customer NPCs too. So as you can see here, all these people are enjoying dinner that they just bought from the vendor here. Amazing detail. That is such a great mod. If you don't have it, get it. So then here we have the bar, and I haven't actually checked to see if the NPCs are behaving themselves in it, but it appears that they are, which is great. I was actually very worried about that. So right here we do, they were almost behaving themselves. So as you can see at night, this bar just looks way better because the lighting really pops in here. You have a bunch of low glows from the candles, and the underglow on this Yaguai just looks great. I love it. So that's the Nordhagen market and bar and hotel and Minutemen settlement. Thank you guys so much for watching. I have a couple more settlements coming out because quarantine we're in this one for the long haul. So, you know, to pass the time, I'm going to be finishing a couple more settlements and putting them on the YouTube channel. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.